I used to think I had everything: a devoted husband, a beautiful home, and a life that others would envy. Ryan was the kind of man who turned heads, but he only ever looked at me. At least, that's what I believed. We met in college, married, young, and built a life brick by brick. Every morning, he kissed my forehead before leaving for work. Every night, he texted when he was running late. I never questioned a thing. Our weekends were spent with our circle of friends, wine nights, and movie marathons. Ryan's job in finance kept him busy, but he made time more, so it seemed. The silences started slowly. He wasn't talking much. He was glued to his phone. At first, I chalked it up to stress. He'd sigh more often, and when I'd ask if everything was okay, he'd nod without meeting my eyes. Then there was Ivy, my best friend since forever. She was the funny one, the confident one, the one who could walk into any room and be noticed. She started coming around more, always dropping by with coffee or wine when Ryan was working late. She'd make me laugh. When I felt alone in my own house, we shared things I hadn't even shared with Ryan in years. I never felt judged. Ryan liked Ivy, too. They got along well, but nothing that ever set off alarms. She was family to us, practically lived in our guest room during her breakups. Ryan never minded. In fact, he encouraged it. "It's good you have her when I'm slammed," he once said, typing away on his laptop, barely glancing up. I thought it was thoughtful. Still, the coldness between Ryan and me grew. The affection dimmed. He stopped asking about my day. Our sex life had dwindled to routine silence. When I asked if he was bored, he brushed it off. Just tired. Work's been killing me. I wanted to believe him. I needed to. Then came the night Ivy stayed over after we binged a show. Ryan didn't come home until 2 a.m. I pretended to be asleep when he slid into bed. He smelled like someone else's perfume. It wasn't Ivy's. I knew that scent. I knew all of Ivy's perfumes. This one was different, spicy, unfamiliar, lingering. The next morning, I stared at him across the kitchen table, watching the way he sipped his coffee, completely unaware that something inside me had shifted. I didn't ask where he'd been. I just smiled, the same way I always had. But that moment stayed with me. Ivy showed up later with a bottle of red and a story about her latest failed date. We laughed until we cried. She hugged me tightly when she left. "You're the only one who really gets me," she whispered. I said the same back. At the time, I meant it. I had no idea I was sleeping beside a liar and confiding in a traitor. I thought I had two safe places. Turns out I was sharing a bed with Betrayal once over. Ryan's distance turned from subtle to deliberate. He stopped pretending. No more goodnight kisses, no casual touches, no checking in. His phone was now permanently face down and passcodes changed without explanation. I noticed, but I didn't ask. Asking would have made it real. I wasn't ready for the truth. Ivy, on the other hand, became more constant. She was everywhere. Ryan wasn't. She brought lunch to my work, sent voice notes at midnight, stayed longer. After visits, we shared more than stories: frustrations, secrets, vulnerabilities. She listened in ways Ryan hadn't in months. Her hugs lingered longer. Her compliments started landing differently. One night I cried about Ryan. I admitted I didn't feel chosen anymore. Ivy wiped my tears, looked me in the eyes, and said, "You deserve to be loved," out loud. That sentence cracked something open inside me. I should have pulled away. I didn't. Flirting started as harmless deflection, sarcasm, teasing, those playful what-ifs. But it escalated. Ivy started touching my arm when she laughed, calling me beautiful when I wasn't even trying. She'd brush my hair out of my face like it meant something. I kept telling myself, it's just comfort. She's my best friend. That's all. Then one night we kissed. It happened without a plan. One second we were laughing over wine. The next our lips met. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't hesitant. It felt terrifyingly natural. I pulled away first. She didn't apologize. She just stared at me like she'd been waiting. I couldn't sleep that night. I lay in bed next to Ryan, going over every moment, every touch, every word. My body was beside him. My thoughts were with her. I hated myself for wanting more of what I shouldn't. The next day, Ivy acted normal, like nothing had happened. I couldn't decide if that made it better or worse. Part of me wanted her to bring it up, to acknowledge it, to force me to deal with it. But she didn't. She just smiled, made coffee, and moved on. Guilt hit hard and fast. I told myself it was a mistake, a slip-up, a one-time thing. I'd fix it. I'd reconnect with Ryan. I'd cooked his favorite meal, asked about his day, touched his hand. He barely noticed. He ate in silence and went straight. To his office. I wanted to scream. I kissed someone else. Just to get a reaction. I didn't. Instead, I sat in the dark staring at nothing. Realizing I'd become someone I never thought I'd be. Still, something about Ivy pulled me back. I started craving her presence, her attention. She made me feel wanted again, seen. I hated it. I needed it. I kept the secret buried, telling myself it was temporary. Just loneliness. Just confusion. Then I found the receipt. 2 glasses of wine, 1 appetizer, 1 hotel room charged on our joint card, but signed with Ryan's name. My name wasn't on it. Ivy's was. A short, elegant scribble I recognized instantly. Everything stopped. The kiss, the guilt. Excuses. All of it collided into a single brutal realization. I wasn't the only one crossing lines. I wasn't the only one confused. I stared at the receipt like it could somehow rewrite itself. Ivy's name, Ryan's signature, the timestamp clear as day. No room for misunderstanding. I sat frozen, heart pounding, brain refusing to process what was right in front of me. This wasn't speculation. This wasn't suspicion. This was proof. The next morning, I asked Ryan where he'd been 2 nights ago. He didn't flinch. Said he was working late. I asked if he went out after. He shrugged, avoiding eye contact. I slid the receipt across the table. He looked at it, then at me. No panic, no guilt, just silence. You went to a hotel with her? I said. He blinked slowly. It's not what you think. I laughed. Was the only thing I could do. Then tell me what I'm thinking. He stood up, walked away, then came back like he couldn't decide what role to play, defensive or apologetic. It just happened, he finally said. It wasn't planned. Just happened. With my best friend. I could barely breathe. He leaned on the counter, like his words were a burden. It started a few months ago. You were distant. She was ... there. I wanted to scream. I wanted to hit something. You cheated on me with her while I was breaking apart over you. He had no response, only a blank stare. That was when I realized he wasn't sorry. He was caught. And worse, he thought we were even. I asked him how long it had been going on. He said 3 months, maybe more. My knees buckled, but I didn't let myself fall. I asked if it was serious. He didn't answer. I asked if they laughed about me. Behind my back, he said nothing. Coward, I told him to leave. He didn't argue. He just gathered his things and walked out like he was late for a meeting. No apologies, no begging. Just absence. Then I called Ivy. She answered on the second ring. Cheerful, fake. I told her I knew. She didn't even ask how. It just went quiet. You kissed me, and you slept with him. I said, was that part of the plan? There was a pause. Then she said, I didn't mean to hurt you. That's not an answer. Said she got caught in the middle. That she didn't know how to stop it. That she loved us both in different ways. She called it complicated. I called it calculated. You took turns, I said. Between us. Was it a game? She started crying. Said she was confused, that everything got twisted. I hung up. I couldn't listen to another lie dressed as honesty. Every memory rewrote itself. The laughter, the sleepovers, the late-night confessions, it was all tainted. I wasn't loved, I was used. I hadn't betrayed me by accident. They'd both made choices repeatedly, willingly, together, and I was the fool who trusted them. Both. There was no closure in that moment. It's just a hollow understanding. The people I held closest had never once held me back. It's only held me down. I didn't scream. I didn't chase either of them. Kai let the silence do the leaving. Ryan packed a single bag and walked out like he was doing me a favor. Ivy stopped texting. No long explanations, no emotional speeches. Just distance. Like they both believed avoiding the aftermath would erase what they'd done. The hardest part wasn't the betrayal, it was the stillness that followed. The mornings without routine, the empty side of the bed, the lack of questions. I expected grief to hit like a wave, but it didn't. It settled like dust. Quiet, stubborn, and everywhere. For weeks, I functioned on autopilot. I showed up to work, answered small talk with hollow smiles, ignored mutual friends who didn't know what to say. No one asks how you're doing when they're afraid they might hear the truth. I didn't cry much. I wasn't sad. I was numb. Betrayal doesn't break your heart. It rewires it. I started writing everything down. Not because I wanted to remember, but because I needed to empty the weight out of me. Page after page, I spelled out their names, their lies, my denial. I saw it all in my own words, the red flags. The moments I ignored, the way I let people treat me like a placeholder. I didn't seek revenge. That would have required energy I refused to waste. Ryan had nothing left to take. Ivy had no version of me left to access. They both got exactly what they deserved, each. Other let them rot in the discomfort of their own choices. Months passed, the quiet became peaceful. I learned how to be alone without being lonely. I stopped asking questions that had no honest answers. I stopped justifying pain as love. I got comfortable eating dinner alone, going to the movies alone, sleeping without waiting for a door to open. I rebuilt myself slowly. Not into someone colder, just someone less willing to carry what wasn't mine. I cut ties without warning. No long messages, no closure meetings. Just clean, final decisions. If someone had the capacity to betray me, they didn't deserve access to any version of me, past, present, or healed. People asked if I'd date again. Maybe, someday. But I wasn't in a rush to fill the space betrayal left behind. That space wasn't a void. It was a reminder of what I survived, of who I became. I wasn't waiting for a better love. I was choosing myself fully, maybe for the first time ever. Healing didn't make me forget. It made me honest. It made me careful. It made me powerful. I stopped being scared of losing people who weren't afraid to lose me. They took turns breaking me. But when it was finally my turn, I didn't get even. I got free, and I never looked back.